This episode is brought to you by the fabulous members of the You Run Podcast Network, all available at yourunpodcast.com.
You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes he tells sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But you do not podcast.
Scram! Leave her alone. She doesn't want to talk to you. Get out of here.
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast horror movie review podcast. It feels good to say that and not be accused of false advertising anymore.
It is good to be back, man.
It really is. My name is Scott.
And my name is Marc.
And we are your hosts each and every Monday as we take you through a horror movie that you have picked from our Instagram polls. Horror adjacent month is over. And as a way to appease Marc, who, no joking, nearly quit the show last month.
I did. I had the biggest hissy fit of my life.
And people will think we've made that up, but you genuinely messaged me, not in the group chat, straight to me, but mate, I am about to fucking walk. What are you doing?
Yep. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I was just pissed off, man. I was like, this isn't what I give up my free time to do. I don't like it. Don't enjoy talking about it. This isn't for me. Get a guest in. I'll be back next month.
Yeah, and like I really had to appease you. And the way I appeased you is we're now into brutal and extreme horror month as a way to balance out the yin to the yang of what we done last month. Now, if you're new to the show, we kick off with a brief synopsis, followed by more depth, spoiler-heavy look at what we liked and what we didn't like. Later on the show, we're going to check our voicemails. We're going to go through the return of 3-word review. And we're also going to play a game, which I'll be honest, even at this moment in time, I haven't fully fleshed it out in my head. I have the bones of a game that we're going to put together in about 40 minutes time.
This is not going to end well.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I've got an idea that kind of is a game. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we always do.
For the first time in a very long time, I'm going to add a warning to this episode. This episode contains conversations surrounding sexual assault, rape, and violence against women. If you feel that any of this may affect you in any way that is negative, please either stop listening now or proceed with extreme caution, because this is going to be a rough episode for you.
Yeah.
When Mari and Paige decided to go and smoke weed with a cute boy they met, little did they know a few hours later, one of them would be dead and the other one would be raped and running for her life. Neither did they realize that the gang who committed these acts would turn up at Mari's parents' house and use it like an Airbnb, right up until the point the parents realized what happened and dish out some well-deserved vigilante justice. Today, we bring you our review of The Last House on the Left from 2009.
My eyes! My eyes! They're actually bleeding.
I'm going to call you out. This was your wild card pick. On what planet did you go, do you know what? This is going to be a really good movie to talk about. Because when I watched this, I was like, oh my fucking God.
And I immediately regretted it when I started watching the movie myself. The thing is, like, we had this discussion and we was like, look, we'll balance things out. We'll just do a really fucking brutal R-rated sort of kind of month where we just pick the worst, nastiest shit we can find. Now, it was a wild card pick. So we had 2 movies in the final, which was Eden Lake and...
Can't remember the other one, but it was a tie.
No. It was a tie. It ended up in a tie, and we came for a pick. And he was like, you take this one, you pick the wild card. And I was like, right, you guys who follow me on my review page know that I like purposefully seek out deep, dark, fucking horrible stuff. So I had a list of like stuff that I was going to pick from. Martyrs was like being one of the top ones and things like that. And possibly like Human Centipede 2, because I know we'd done the first one. But I was like, no, I'll keep it kind of in a position where it was widely released in the cinema, not just some sort of dark indie weird shit that I kind of watch. Something that people I know will have seen and will have want to hear us talk about. I picked Last House on the Left because I thought it was one of those movies that came out in the late 2000s that was released in cinema that I know quite a lot of people appreciate. And I was like, oh, I'll just pick that. I know it'll be a popular episode because people know it. I've not seen this movie, and I was like, "It'll be fine. We'll just watch that. We'll have a slow start to the month, and we'll just get darker and darker from there." I don't know where we go from here.
Honestly, I haven't seen this movie probably since it came out, and within the first 10 minutes, like when you meet Mari and you meet her parents, and you see like the really happy kind of life they've got, and you find out that she's lost her brother, like that whole setup, I really latched on to that character. It's like, oh, you're such a nice girl, you're such a nice kid, you've got such a supporting family, and you've had this tragedy, but they're all really behind you. And like then she goes and meets her friend, and they're like, they meet the boy, and as soon as they're like, oh yeah, I can get some weed, and they go with the boy, as soon as they've done that, the anxiety in my body, because I knew at some point that scene that we'll talk about in a minute was coming. From that moment on until that happened, my anxiety was through the roof. I'm like, oh no, don't go in there. Like a friend goes into the house, I'm like, just leave her in there. Like, don't go in. Just go. Just leave. Just ring her on your phone. Leave her. Like, just fuck off. Don't. It was awful.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I knew this was a rape revenge story, and for those of you who know me, I stay well away from these kind of movies. They don't sit well with me. I think it's a really, really difficult line to balance to get these films right. And it's not very often from the ones that I have seen. I think, yeah, that's justifiable. And I knew this was one of those type of movies, but I thought because it was such a widespread and wide popular movie that was released in cinemas and stuff like that, I was like, it'll have been a tamed down version of what was originally intended. It'll be fine. But I still had that really severe level of anxiety of when is it coming? Yeah. When is the moment that we hit that? Because with all these type of films, you have that moment. You have that initial fucking horrible sequence which sets up the rest of the movie, which then goes on to have the whole revenge plot sequence where you take out all these people that you've come to hate because of the act that's occurred. For me, with Last House on the Left, man, I have never experienced an anxiety-inducing level of feeling like I have in... I don't think I've ever had it. I've always known when I'm watching horror movies where there's going to be a jump scare, but you get that little set 30 seconds of it's going to happen now. With Last House on the Left, you get that for almost an hour of this movie's runtime before that sequence actually happens, but you spend that entire hour with situations that unfold throughout where you think it's going to be now, it's going to be now, it's going to be now, surely it's going to be now, surely it's going to be now, and it's not, and it's an hour in before that sequence actually happens, and there is so much stuff that happens before it, but you spend the entirety of that first hour just in panicked mess. And I did anyway. I even said to you, I messaged you, I was like, dude, I'm so fucking uncomfortable right now. I don't know what's going on in this film, but I do not feel safe. I'm going to have to take a break.
Yeah, and like, I think the reason it has such an impact is they show you some of the acts that this crew do earlier on. So they show them kill a couple of, and they're ruthless, and they're doing it because they enjoy it. And then you get the scene where the girls are in the cabin with the boy and they're smoking weed, and they come back. And like as soon as they come back, I'm like, oh no. Like, just say, oh, we were just leaving now and just fucking go. But they don't. And you've got the woman who's like takes her jacket and like touching her boob and stroking her leg. And I'm like, oh, I fucking hate this. And you've got the guy who will always be Jesse from Breaking Bad to me.
Yeah.
Like, he's just awful. And then you've got the dad who is the biggest scumbag ever, like beats the fuck out of his son for bringing these two girls back because he knows they're on the run, and like that whole scene there is just so uncomfortable, and it just makes
It's
you
awful.
Yeah, it just made me want, like, this is one of the few movies that I've gone, I don't like this, to the point that if it wasn't for the show, I'd probably have turned it off.
Yeah, I think I would have done as well. If I'd have chose to kick back and relax on a Friday night and a couple of beers and a takeaway and watch this film, I would have tapped out, I think, and be like, no, this is not the experience I came into watching a movie.
No, and like, even when you get the first, her friend who tries to run away from the kitchen or the bathroom,
McLovin's girlfriend.
Yeah, and she gets like beaten up and dragged back in. You're like, it's so excessively violent. It's not even like a little bit violent. It's so over the top, and you're like, oh. And the thing is, people, what makes this scary is this rides a line of, there are people like this in the world. There are criminals and stuff who behave like this, and this is normal. And this movie does a really good way of portraying these as real people. It's not Hollywoodized. It's not like they're acting. They are just fucking scumbags.
That's one thing I was going to say about this, is like, if I was to compare this opening segment in the motel and stuff, the first thing I would go to is The Devil Rejects, Rob Zombie's movie. That movie plays out very similar beat for beat. But the thing is with The Devil's Reject is because these characters are so cartoonized, is that even the right word?
Yeah, they're caricatures. Yeah.
Caricatures, yeah. So they're so overly over the top with Captain Spaulding and fucking the whole Firefly family are just sort of very elaborate in their ways of doing things, and it's a digestible sort of story to unfold and unpack and watch within a reasonable sort of level. Same with the From Dusk Till Dawn, the way that Quentin Tarantino's character is when he kills a maid in that first segment in that movie. It's almost overly unrealistic in the terms of their characters, that when you're watching it, you can digest it with a reasonable manner. But here, because everything feels so grounded and so realistic in the approach that they take, it's really fucking difficult to watch, man. And one thing that I really struggled with the most, I haven't watched a movie like this in probably 6-7 years. I've had a daughter since the last time I watched a movie like this. I couldn't think of anything else, man. I really couldn't think of anything else. I have a young 4-year-old daughter, blue-eyed, blonde-haired little princess, and I'm watching this movie and I'm like, fuck. I do not want her to leave my house ever. No, it really put me in a really weird place, man. It really did.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. Like, I've got obviously older boys. I've got an older daughter as well, and I've got younger kids. And the bit where the mum doesn't want the daughter to go out early on, she's like, oh, no, we've just got here. Come on, let's stay at the summer house. We'll have a bit of a family night. And the daughter's like, oh, look, you two can have a night together. Like, these are conversations I've had with our older kids. And there is a point when they reach a certain age that you need to give them that freedom. But you need to have sort of ways of staying in touch. There needs to be, like, this would have been a very different movie had their daughter had values instilled into her that she doesn't go and do. Like, she doesn't go with a random boy to a random motel in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, a lot of this was through piss poor choices guided by her friend and peer pressure, which is what makes it worse. Because, like, Mari's a really, like, nice, good kid. And, like, you get
the thing is, we've both been teenagers. We both know that the choices she made were realistic, in the sense that what she did wasn't necessarily due to poor parenting. Your parents can be the greatest parents on earth, but given the situation, you're gonna bend the truth. You're gonna lie slightly, And I think that's what they do really well here. Is most times than not, they would probably pick to choose this as being a troubled teen and rebelling against her parents, which is why she's fallen into the situation she has. She hasn't. She's a very dedicated swimmer. She loves her parents. They're a really, really cool family, which makes the situation all the more even worse when the events unfold that do. Lighthearted situation, very briefly. Monica fucking Potter in this movie, childhood crush of mine, Love this woman. For those of you who don't know, Monica Potter it's Con Air's wife.
Yeah.
She was the fucking woman of my dreams growing up. I know I've talked in this podcast numerous times about my crushes growing up: Christina Ricci, Laura Dern. Monica Potter was the one. When I watched Con Air for the first time in my life, I knew that was where I needed to be.
The drive they take these girls on. So when they decide that they need to kill them, and they take them on that drive up into the forest, that's horrific. And the only moment of that gives you any sort of like, oh, she's going to get away, the bit with the cigarette lighter where she put her foot on the cigarette lighter and then she burns the side of her head and she manages to get out of the car and she runs, and then they catch her again. Like, it's so good at building up they're going to get away. And they do it with both girls. They do it with that girl, and they do it with the friend who gets away and then gets dragged back. Like, they do there's hope. They give you that glimmer of hope that as an audience member, you cling to.
And the thing is as well, like, they don't establish them as a rapist set of gang. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's one thing that they do really, really well with these group of characters. They're clearly unhinged and they're clearly maniacal, but like, they don't do the whole rapist thing early on the gate. No. You know, it's not like you don't, even though we know where this movie's going to go, you don't, the story itself, you doesn't get you in a position where you fear for them in that aspect. Like, even to the certain point, like, if you didn't know anything going in and you didn't have Wes Craven's original as a blueprint for what was going to happen to these girls, you would just think they were maybe just taking them into the woods just to tie them up, leave them there by themselves some time to get some distance. You know? And I think that's really well built throughout. And I think probably one of the more insulting and more damaging aspects of this film's build-up is probably that aspect, is the fact that it is based on an original story, you know, as opposed to it being its own content. Because you know it's coming. And I suppose in a way it kind of works, because we're sat here now thinking, when is that moment coming? And it was unbearable to sit through and watch. But if you take away that moment and that feeling within your mind, the build-up of the characters themselves, they're not presented in a way where they have any ill intention towards these girls from that perspective, which I think's quite cool in a way. Like, they didn't initially go, because they could have quite easily been, we're rapey men, we're going to get you, ha ha ha, and they don't do that. They don't do that, you know. And yeah, I don't know. No. I don't know what's worse. I don't know the intention that we know because it's based on another story, or the idea that they don't present it in that way starting off. It's only until he fucking switches a light bulb just to prove a point later on. Yeah. Are we there yet?
Yeah, that moment where he turns around to his son, like one of the girls has escaped and they've gone and they've given her a bit of a kicking, tied her up and brought her back. And now both girls are there, and he turns around to his son who's crying, sniveling against the tree, and he goes, "Pick one." And he's like,
"Time you learn to be a man."
Yeah, like that line, just fuck it. I just like, oh no, this is the most awful thing ever. And when his son refuses, he's like, "I'll fucking show you how to do it." Like, that is just horrific, because he stabbed the.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't even say. It's not even that though. That's not even that. It doesn't even play out like that. That's the thing that's so bad about it. Is like, it's not, he doesn't say, "I'll show you how to do it." It's the girl, McLovin's girlfriend, pipes up and is like, "You're pathetic," because he's trying to like belittle his son, and he just fucking stabs her and kills her there and then. And in that moment, I was just in shock. I was like, oh, I was expecting you to go over and give her a slap about or something like that, but no, they just kill her. And then fucking Jesse from Breaking Bad just comes up and stabs her in the back, and they start taking it in turns, just killing this poor girl, to the point where Mary comes over and has to console her. And he's telling her, he's like, "Tell her it'll be okay. Tell her she's going to be safe and it doesn't look as bad as it is." And Mary refuses. She's like, "No, I won't do it. I won't do it." And I can't remember for the life of me what it was that she said that made him do what he did. He said something that insulted him to the point where he had to like be like, "I'll show you I do what I want." it's horrific either way. But she said something in that moment.
Yeah, and it's awful as well because like the girl of the group, who is the dad's girlfriend, effectively holds her down and helps tear off her underwear for it to happen, and that to me took it to a whole nother level. So in my head, that is the worst thing that could ever happen to a woman ever, and to witness a guy do that in a movie is awful. But to have another woman who would understand how traumatic and awful that would be, like hold her down and laugh and sort of be in on it and almost like giving thumbs up and fucking high fives as he'd done it. And this poor girl is screaming for her life and begging for it to end. I was like, this is awful. And that scene is, fuck me. It must be about 17 hours too long, because that feels like the longest scene.
I couldn't watch it, dude. I texted you, didn't I? I was watching it, and I was talking to you throughout while I was watching this movie, saying how fucking crippled I am with anxiety as it's going on. And it got to that moment. It got to the scene that I was dreading for the first hour of the film, and I couldn't watch it. I fast forwarded right through it, and I have this thing on my computer where when I'm watching a movie, you just press the arrow and it fast forwards 10 seconds. I think I pressed it like 6 or 7 times, so a minute and 10 seconds, and it was still happening.
It's way too long.
It is fucking. I mean, I don't know the actual scene itself because, as I say, I didn't watch it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there and physically watch that moment unfold. I have a really, really strong fucking thing with rape in movies. I don't like it. I don't like to watch it. I don't feel like it serves a purpose, and I feel like this movie, more than any other that I've seen, usually when they happen in films, I can watch them. I can be like, this is fucking awful. I don't like this. Will it please just hurry up and end? But because they did such a good job of the build up throughout until this scene, by the time it actually got there, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't physically watch this happen. I can't see it unfold on screen. So I just fast forwarded right through. But as I said, 10 seconds of time, 7 or 8 clicks, minute and 20 seconds, and it was still going on. And then we finally get to the end of it. I genuinely thought it was going to be one of those where they were taking turns moments, where like then Jesse from Breaking Bad was going to have a go, and they'd finally they would force it. I've seen a film where they do the similar sort of thing. I don't know whether it's I Spit on Your Grave remake, where they do the whole taking it in turn kind of thing,
and they get the guy who's drunk and make him do it as well.
Yeah. I think it might be I Spit on Your Grave remake, which again, I really like the I Spit on Your Grave remake. The reason being is that scene doesn't go on for fucking 5 minutes, and it's insinuated, but it's not the full length of the act itself.
Yeah.
Still brutal as fuck and still absolutely horrifying to watch, but again, at the same time, it's not as fleshed out as it is here. And I think I'm really conflicted with the importance of it, and like I feel it's relevant. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a really conflicting thing that I have in my mind with these movies. I feel like it's there. It is very relevant because the more heinous the act is, the more gratification you get from the repercussions that follow.
And honestly,
you know what I mean?
I hate this group so much. Like the guy who does it, like the dad, like I want him to have, after this, I want him to have the most brutal, horrific, drawn out death that they can possibly concoct. And I want this. Yeah, and I want the same for Jesse, and I want the same, if not worse, for the woman who held her down. Like, it serves a purpose of making me absolutely despise these characters. Like, these characters could do the most wonderful acts straight after this. They could fucking save humanity, save puppies. I wouldn't give a fuck, because what they've done is so unforgivable. I hate them now on a level that's very rarely I reach with characters in a horror movie. It's very rare I reach a point where I go, you have to die. Like, not just a little bit. Like, it has to be long. It has to be torturous, and you have to suffer. And what makes this worse is the girl like uses a rock and she smashes one of them in the head and she runs away. And the moment when she hit the water, like she jumps into the water, and they establish early in the morning she's a almost like she's a collegiate athlete for swimming. She's almost like Olympic grade. When she hit that water and she fucking started going, I was like, fucking right, you get away, pick these motherfuckers off in the forest. This is awesome. Swim, swim, swim. And then he shot her in the back. I was like, oh. And tip to everyone at home, do not watch this with your wife or girlfriend.
No, no.
I
mean, I don't think it makes it any better watching it on your own in a dark room, but certainly don't watch it with your loved ones.
I watched this with Lisa. Lisa had never seen it. I've not seen it for a very long time. I pre-warned her, like, there is a scene in this that's rape. I don't know when it's coming, but I know it's in there. And when it happened, like, I could see Lisa looking at it going, this is awful. And then when she got away, I could see Lisa like, oh, she got away. Oh, fucking, it was almost like a swim, motherfucker, swim. Like that's the energy that was coming. And then when she gets shot, you just saw that Lisa was like, oh, what
but again,
now?
that's
Like,
the whole thing. It's like this movie does that so fucking well. It's that build-up of emotion, the anxiety you get up until that scene, the final break away from after that scene to the point where you're cheering. You're like, yes, you go, girl. You get away. You fucking do this. Then you go savage and pick them off one by one. And then all of a sudden, it's just taken away from you. That moment of hope and justice is just gone with one single shot to the back. And you're like, fuck, now what?
Yeah, and like what comes next, I think, is really clever. So you see them get in the car and they drive and they walk. They end up at because they crashed the car.
Because she sort of sends them close to the house where she's staying. This is a holiday home for her and her parents. They go there regularly. It's like a lake house kind of thing. Yeah, it'd be nice to have the money to have a lake house. Anyway, they go, and then when they're driving through the dirt roads, and so she's like, "Oh, you need to take a left here," and she says that because it's close to where her parents are and where she's staying, and which is why she tries to brake from the car when she does with the lighter thing to the head.
Yeah.
So she sort of veered them in the right direction. So when the car does total after the lighter incident, they're within close proximity of her house. It's the closest distance from anything around them.
Yeah, and they arrive at the house and they're like, oh, we've had an accident. Like, can you help us? Like, Jesse's nose is all busted up and split. And it just so happens her dad's a doctor or a surgeon. And like, they take him in and they like, the mum makes hot chocolate for the boy and they stitch his nose up. And they're the most welcoming family ever. Like, oh, do you want to use the phone? Oh, there's a storm coming. Oh, I tell you what, you can use our guest house as like an Airbnb and we'll sort you out. They're so nice to these fucking monsters, and it plays on the young lad's soul because he's not as evil as his family.
Yeah, so he notices a photograph on the fridge of Mary, and it all just comes together full circle. It's like, shit, this is the parents of the girl that my dad has just raped and shot in the river, and he throws his dad under the bus. Because his dad, as he's raping Mary, pulls off Mary's necklace and throws it to his son. And for some strange reason, he keeps it anyway. But when he get back to the house, he places a necklace in plain sight where the parents will find it later on.
Yeah. And I think from where it plays out here, I'm a dad of a girl. And what I'm going to say may not land with some of our audience. Some of our audience may not like what I'm going to say. They got off light in comparison to what I would do.
Yeah, like, and I think that's one of my biggest gripes with towards the climax of this movie. I do feel it is and it isn't. I feel like because we've already established how well grounded this movie is in terms of the characters build up, the setup, and all the rest of it, in terms of the realistic nature of it. When the dad being savage like he is, he's not John Wick, and I appreciated that. They're just trying to survive in the moment. So I kind of get it from that perspective. But at the same time, I would be like, nah, you guys aren't getting an easy kill. I'm tying you all up and you're coming with me.
Yeah. And like me and Lisa were talking about after the movie, I don't think there's a limit of what I would do in retaliation. Like there is no stopping point for me if you've done that to my daughter. Like, I don't think there's a
Oh,
point
no.
where I'm going to go, Joe, what? I've had enough of torturing you now. I'm just going to kill you. Like, I don't think that point is coming. Like, I'm taking
No.
toes off one at a time with a pair of pliers. I'm taking fingers off. Like, I am
I'm
going
patching you up every single time I can with the most amount of pain and suffering you can experience in your life, to the point where you're begging me to end it.
Yeah, I am raping you with a pineapple, like prickly end.
I mean,
first.
I don't know if I'd want to be involved in a rapey thing.
Do you know, I genuinely think that's where I would go to, so they learn a fucking lesson. Like, this is what you've done. Now you're going to get, see this pineapple? Like, we're going to go with this first. And then you see that watermelon? Like, that is being like football kicked up your arse. That's how bad your night is going to be. Honestly. And like, I do like the way, like the way the parents realize. So the mum gets an inkling that something's not right when she lets them into the house, and they're like, they all crowd her in the bathroom. I'm like, bit weird. Like, the mum's like, I don't like it. They're a bit odd. And then he's like, oh, we'll just lock the door. And they lock the door, and this is when they hear the banging, and they go out, and their daughter has managed to survive, and she's done that last little bit of swim to the house, and she's banging the rocking chair.
Yeah.
And the dad, as he had to like drain the fluid from her lung. And like,
this scene is so bad, man. And it's so well executed as well, because in that moment, the dad, I've seen him in something where he's an absolute fucking tool, and I hate him. And I can't think what it is. It's one of those movies, you know, like the Belko Experiment. Like, he's like, I think he might even be in the Belko Experiment, where he is the boss of the he's the boss of the company, and he's a tool in that film. But in this movie, seeing him do what he's doing and execute his job perfectly to precision, as if he has no personal attachment to his daughter, but then you see those moments of instances where he breaks and he like steps himself back out of his career and his role, and knows it's just so fucking hard to watch. And the discovery of him realizing that she's been raped, it is just one of the most heinous things I've ever seen, where he's just he's just in pure turmoil. And as a dad of a daughter, I resonated so much with that shock discovery that he had in that moment. And I was like, fuck, man, like, this is, and he had to tell his wife. I don't know if I would in that moment. That's why I was going to ask you, would you have? And then I suppose in a way he kind of needed to get her at a point where she needed to seek revenge on the same level that he did. But would you have told Lisa in that moment?
See,
because I will try and shield my wife from.
Yeah,
from it.
I think. See, if it was me, and I said this after we'd watched it, if it was me, I probably wouldn't have said anything. I would have like gone, look, I'm going to go down to the shed, I'm going to go down to the guest house, whatever, go get the keys for the boat so we can get out of here. And what I would have done is I would have gone down and I would have barricaded all the doors of that house, and I'd have set the guest house on fire. And then I'd have sat outside and waited to see if any of them got out. And if they did, then I'd have continued. I think like you, I think like you, I would want to, like, that's not something as a dad you want to say to your wife, like, that's happened to our child, like that. And no. he plays it really well. Like, it's done
so
in a
good,
way.
Man. So
yeah.
Good.
And I'll be honest, I really like the mum, because the mum has got that edge to her. Like, she switched on enough that she clocked something was wrong before he did. And when she realized what it was, and you get that scene where Jesse comes round to the house and she's trying to steer him away from seeing the daughter that's set up on the coffee table in the front room. That scene is fabulous. And it's so full of tension. And like, you can see the mum's, you can see the mum's like, I just want to stab you, but I know you want to fuck me. And the only way for me to keep your attention is for me to play to that. And I'll pour us a glass of wine and I'm going to keep us safe. And it's when he sort of ambles into the room and spots her. And the mum's like, well, it's fucking now or never. Let's have it. And his hand, this is one of the best things ever. Like, they're trying to fucking drown him in the sink, like the mum and dad together. And I'm like, yeah, go parents, like co-parenting perfectly there, fucking killing. And it's the dad who's like, oh, hang on, there's a waste disposal unit. Where's his hand? Like fucking rams his hand on the waste disposal.
Yeah, because he
switches
pulls
it
the
on.
plug out to try and sort of drain the water, doesn't he? He thinks
Yeah,
fast on his feet, does this rapist guy. And then they're holding him under, the water's starting to drain, and they just stick his hand in the incinerator. I'm like, oh, fuck, man, that is brutal. And you just see it shredding and pulling out. And the dad just takes a claw hammer and just fucking ends it straight in the back of the skull. No messing, Rick Grimes style. That's how
yeah,
it's done. I was like, fuck. And you know, the thing is, like, this is one of my favorite executions in the movie. Like, I
yeah,
think this is perfectly fleshed out in terms of longevity, in terms of rewards for us as an audience, for somebody who has done what he has done. And
yeah.
this is one of my biggest disappointments going forward with the rest of the people. I feel like it should have only
All a
grown
step down. Yeah,
it is an all a step down kind of situation, especially the final boss sequence. You know, like, he is the one, and I feel like his moment was very underwhelming, and the closing credit sequence didn't justify it enough for me to feel happy. Excuse me, happy walking away thinking that was not
no,
enough, in my opinion.
it didn't me either. So like they off Jesse, and then they venture down to the house with the intent of killing the other two. Like the son's already
Right.
toying with killing his other three. The son's already toying with killing his dad anyway. I want to know where you sit on the son.
I think he should have died. I think his dad should have killed him in that moment when he stabbed him, and I don't feel he should have survived that instance. I feel like obviously he was guilty by association, but I don't think he's innocent by any stance of the imagination. I feel like he could have done a hell of a lot more to stop that from happening, prevent that situation. And I know he's a weak kid in a sense, but I feel like he didn't deserve
Redemption.
to walk away. I don't feel like he did enough to deserve redemption. I don't feel like as a character he should have walked away. I feel like I would have been happy with the brief instances of redemption he had throughout, but I still feel like he needed to die. I don't think he should have died by the hands of Mary's parents, but it would have been more fitting for me to see his dad kill him there and then. When he stabbed him, I feel like he should have died from his wounds in that moment. Him surviving, I didn't sit well with me. And as a parent in that situation, and bringing him on board the boat where my daughter was, who had been raped, and he was in that situation, the sheer terror. Yeah, exactly. For me, I was like, no chance. You aren't coming on this boat. Fuck you, man.
Lisa had a different take on it. So Lisa saw that. Lisa had the maternal thing, which like, oh, but he didn't do anything wrong. I was like, he didn't fucking do anything right either. Like,
mums and sons, though, man.
Yeah, like he had the opportunity, like, even if he'd spoken up and like shouted at his dad just to get his dad off and taken a couple of punches, like his dad wasn't going to kill him. Like if dad gave him a bit of a kick in, and it's
but the whole situation was his fault in the first place, which even his dad said.
Yeah, like he did. Like if you're in that situation, don't bring girls. But like I was really like, I'm not on board with you being on the boat at the end. I'm not on board with you getting this redemption up. Like I get it, I understand why you've got that. But fuck, man, you should have been left there with the others. I did like the eye shot for the girlfriend. The bullet through the eyeball, I thought was great.
Yeah, it was quite cool. But again, I don't feel like she kind of got. It was just all the thing for me was because Jesse's death was so fucking full on and so brutal. And so bumbling in a way. Like these people clearly don't know what they're doing. It is just a Home Alone-esque kind of takedown of these characters. Yeah. I wanted more of that, and I feel like everybody, even though the execution of her was very fucking bumbling, she fucking barricaded herself in the bathroom, fucking shower pole, beating him up. The dad takes a serious beating throughout this film trying to get his way through it. But it was just over too quickly for me in that sense. Or it wasn't painful enough in terms of
what she deserved.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It wasn't. It just didn't justify the actions that had happened prior for me. And I think the biggest failings of it is because Jesse's kill was so fucking full on and so drawn out and so cool. I just expected the momentum to grow from that point on, and it didn't.
Yeah, and like the kill of the main guy, like the kill of the actual rapist itself, was really anticlimactic. There's a couple of moments in it that I thought were really good, like when he's beating the fuck out of the dad. And
Yeah,
he's
like that whole thing where he's chasing him around the house, really, really cool, really tense
yeah,
building, and it's that moment where he gets the upper hand. Oh, fuck,
and he's like,
awful. And he's like, do you want me to tell you how
yeah,
fucking tight your daughter was? Oh, man, I was
oh,
there. And then the dad's like, no, I just want you to beg for your life. And he gets that comeback moment. I'm like, yeah, fucking stake him to the floor like Jesus, cut his limbs off. Yeah, fuck this dude up. And then all of a sudden he just takes a fire extinguisher to the face and he's dead. I'm like, oh, no, this isn't it. Please tell me this isn't it.
yeah, and like that moment, like I'm a very placid. Like, we've known each other a long time now. I'm a very placid person. Deep down somewhere in me, I have a fiery temper. I think if someone said those words to me, like I could have a fucking arm off, I would have ripped his eyeball out of his head with my bare hands in that moment. The adrenaline that would have coursed through my veins, mixed with rage and anger and disgust. I
Oh,
think
man.
they done the dad dirty because I don't think they gave him a true representation of how much adrenaline would have gone through his veins when that bloke said those words. He would have
I'd have been
flipped
full
to his
fucking
feet.
savage. I'd have been full
Yeah,
savage. I would have been biting. I'd have been fucking ripping off limbs. I'd have bit that cunt's neck off and everything. You know, I'd have been fighting dirty all the way to the end. You know, he would have
yeah.
suffered some serious pain.
That dad would have flipped to his feet like Bruce Lee, fucking spun his head full 360 and ripped it off and kicked it out the window. That's how much anger would have been in him. And he didn't. And then you got that stupid fucking fire extinguisher scene, and then you see him all get away on the boat, and I'm like, oh, is this how we're ending it? And the rapist kid is just there, and you're just all cool with that? Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Post credit scene was kind of cool, and they've done a really good job of setting up like earlier
But
in
it
the
didn't
movie.
give no right. So where is this? Where is this in context? Because that's where I am right now. Because he has black eyes and bruises, so clearly he's taken his daughter to safety.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
gone
he's
back.
returned.
Yeah, and kicked fuck out of him for a period of time that, I'll be honest, I needed on screen.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did, because in that moment he woke up like, what the fuck's going on? Where am I? So I don't know if this was him waking up after the knockout from the fire extinguisher. He might have sedated him in some way. But then again, that's even more infuriating because that's it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. Like, for me, if I had him paralyzed, strapped on a table like that, but he could still feel pain, that dude would be there for fucking months.
Yeah, I'd be there. If it happened a year ago, he'd still be there, like still now. But the one thing they set up quite well is they mentioned earlier on, like the wife's brother had been and visited, and like he's like, oh, he's fucking broken the microwave. It's not working properly. Like, it still works with the door open. They establish it early as a throwaway line. And then at the end, he's like, yeah, I paralyzed you from the neck down. So like, you can't move, you can't run anywhere. And then he just like slides him up and sticks his head in the open microwave. And I was like, oh, well, that's not going to tickle. And then he switches, like sets the timer, push start, and just walks away and closes the door. And like, you see the head bubble for a little bit and burn, and then it just goes like, yeah. It was cool.
It was cool. It was cool, man.
Enough.
I'm not gonna, but it just wasn't enough. And that's the thing. Like, if you're comparing the two similar movies and you're taking "I Spit on Your Grave" remake and "Last House on the Left," "I Spit on Your Grave" remake does this vengeance thing a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
The whole sequence itself, you get one of the guys, he gets barbed wire around his face to a tree, and his eyelids peeled open to the point where crows are just pecking his eyeballs out. It's fucking brutal, man. It's awful. But the main guy, the guy in this instance, he gets fucking savagely attacked. He gets a shotgun stuck up his ass, bent over a table. There is a string around the trigger. And then as soon as somebody opens the door, the shotgun goes off and blows his ass through his brains. Brilliant. And it's one of the most fucking best redemptions for that arc of that story that I've seen in a rape revenge movie. This movie handles the situation a hell of a lot better, and it certainly executes it a hell of a lot better than I Spit on Your Grave remake does. But in terms of the brutality inflicted upon the antagonists,
It's not enough.
I've got to give it to I Spit on Your Grave. I think that movie does it a hell of a lot better than here.
Yeah, I agree as well. Shall we call it there and let you dive into your recommended account of the week?
Yes.
Okay, let's give you a soundbite.
Make it stop! Oh, make it stop!
See, that just makes me feel uncomfortable now.
Yes. This is the hardest episode I've ever had to get sound bites for, because I'm like, I can't drop any jokes in this. This is not a funny episode. There's nothing I can laugh at here.
I feel like I've changed as a man since watching this film, I'll be honest with you.
And just remember, you made this happen.
I didn't know the ramifications of this movie. I genuinely thought this would have been a tamer version of something that I expected, especially given its theatrical release.
You were wrong.
I was massively wrong, and I'm okay to admit that. It's not very often I do. Anyway, as we were, so this week's recommended account of the week is The Evidence Vault on Instagram. The Evidence Vault is a horror props and costume replica creator. They have an Etsy shop and all the rest of it. Pre-order, fucking, what's that thing where you can like customize what you want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, custom made, like what's it called?
There's a specific word for it, isn't it? Like
a commission.
Commission, yes.
Commissioned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a really, really cool account. I know I've done accounts like this on recommended account of the week before, but I've never seen any of them executed as well as I have seen on the Evidence Vault. So they make horror movie props, such as the scalpel from Halloween 2, any sort of like weapon sort of thing like you would find in a horror movie that would get logged into evidence had somebody been arrested. That's the kind of thing they make, and you can buy them and purchase them. They custom make them suited to the movie that you're requesting. It's really, really cool. One of the ones that really made me chuckle on the post further down in their stuff is there was one of the red shoes from The Wizard of Oz. And it was like logged into evidence as like a thing. But yeah, it's a really great account. If you're really, really into horror, especially if you're into like certain specific horror movies, and you like to collect props and things like that, although they're not horror movie authentic in terms of this is a screen accurate or this was used within the movie as a display piece. If you wanted something like, I keep using Halloween 2 as a reference because that's the only thing that I can think of that's not so generic, such as a scalpel that's used in Halloween 2. If you wanted that with like an evidence logging code and all the rest of it, it would display really, really well on a shelf. Go and check them out on Instagram. It's The Evidence Vault, all one word, no underscores. And as always, if you like certain things on their things, certain movies that stand out to you, like, oh, this is really, really cool. I love this movie. I'm here because the You Run podcast sent you. That's all you have to comment underneath. It helps their page grow. It helps our page grow because people who are seeing their stuff who have read that comment will think, oh, who's the You Run podcast? They'll click on the link, they'll go to our Instagram page, and they might check out our show. So again, it all comes full circle. Check out The Evidence Vault on Instagram, and as always, let them know that You Run podcast sent you there.
Hey everyone, I want to talk to you about a couple of the shows that you can get on the You Run Podcast Network by visiting our website, yourunpodcast.com. Now, the first one of these shows is the Pop Culture Reflections podcast. This is a show that's hosted by Justin, who's an incredible guy, and he is so engrossed in the pop culture of our history, be that 80s, 90s, more modern into the 2000s, even stuff that is relevant now in pop culture. And this doesn't just cover movies, it's TV series, professional wrestling, music, like anything you could possibly imagine. He's got a new series at the moment that he's doing with Greg Hoey from You Gonna Eat That Crust podcast, which focuses specifically on underdiscovered music, so he's definitely worth checking out. The other show I want to talk to you about is the Girl and the Gay podcast. This is hosted by Jay and Becky, and they dive into movies. Not just horror movies, they do action movies, they do romantic comedies. They have a very unique dynamic between them, and Jay hasn't seen a lot of the movies that they cover, which gives a real unique and a real open perspective on things that are considered legacy great movies. Jay might look at them and go, that's dreadful, but it's so authentic and so original that you need to check them out as well. So the Girl and the Gay podcast and Pop Culture Reflections podcast can both be found at yourunpodcast.com, along with all the other members of the You Run Podcast Network. Let's get back to the show.
Thanks, Scott. Did you not fancy a shave before you decided to represent the show in that manner?
I didn't. And did you notice it's a very different backdrop? Because I have been run fucking ragged at work this week. That is filmed. That is filmed in an office bathroom.
Oh,
And it wasn't even in a scheduled break because I was that busy. It's like, I need the toilet. Went in the toilet and I'm like, there's no one in here. Quick, go.
I hope there was a guy in the cubicle next to you listening to you just do that.
Make sure you check out Mark's recommended account. They win, we win. Mark explained it. You're not thick. Just go and tell them the You Run podcast sent you. Head over to yourunpodcast.com where you get to see Pop Culture Reflections, the Girl and the Gay podcast, and all of the other shows of the You Run Podcast Network. Also links to our merch store and our socials, including Instagram, where you get to pick the very films we review. While you're on Instagram, go and follow Mark at Reviews from the Crypt. He reviewed horror movies about 3 months ago. Hasn't done one.
I have one. No, I have 4 already written and ready to go. It's one of those things now where like the time has passed so long since I've wrote a review that I'm like, I can't just drop one because then the expectancy of them regularly is going to be there. So I'm currently curating a backlog so that when I just had this real drought, man. Please tell me to shut up when it gets to that point. I had this real drought when we had our second child that like I don't have any time. So like when the time does come up to be free, I just want to fucking chill out, man. Do you know, I don't want to sit there. I don't want to write. I don't want to fucking concentrate on shit, you know, and like I've really sort of just focused upon not having to put the work in a little bit since the second baby's arrived. Hence why I've not been doing any reviews. But I have been getting back into writing just behind the scenes. I've done quite a lot. I've done a fair few reviews now that are all ready to go, that need to come out. But I'm just, as many of you will know who have children, especially young children, this brief window of opportunity that I have to write may be gone tomorrow. So I'm using this freedom wisely, and instead of just pumping out content thinking and then getting everybody geared up thinking that I'm back writing again and then me just fall off the radar and then leading to disappointment, I'm just kind of building up a backlog to the point where if I ever need to go stagnant for a week or two again, I have the build up there. So I am writing again. The reviews will be coming within the next couple of weeks or so. It's just at the moment I'm just making sure I've got the draft.
And I get that. And like you and me talk about how we do social media a lot, and you know that I batch make memes, I batch make reels, I batch make content. So I've got like at any given time, I've got the next 3 weeks content sat in my gallery ready to go. Because I can't create it on a daily basis. My life just doesn't allow for that. You can also follow Mark at VHS from the Crypts, where he will make you miss the smell of stale popcorn and the disappointment of not having the rental tape behind the actual VHS cover when you get the movie you want to watch. If you aren't on Instagram, we're at You Run Podcast everywhere else, which includes YouTube, where we're dropping 3. No, we're in August now, so we're now dropping 4 episodes a week. Plus horror movie reviews. So that is 5 days a week. You get reviews from the You Run podcast on YouTube. If you like the idea of exclusive stuff, head over to patreon.com/You Run podcast, where we've got a selection of tiers starting from 6p a day. It gives you anything from early access to episodes that are ad free, so you don't listen to this. We've also got an additional show where me and Mark talk about, well, lots of other things. You need to go and subscribe to get that. It's a super cool place, and it gives you lots of extra stuff that you just don't get here. So that's patreon.com/You Run podcast. If you can't support us financially, we get it. I understand. Like, as much as I take the piss on episodes, times are really fucking tough. You can help us in a free way. You can leave us a review on Apple or Spotify, share some of our shit around. Like, join Patreon for free. Like, I still don't know how to use it. You're going to get some scraps like dropped your way by mistake, and every now and then I'll just throw something your way just because you've joined us and you're part of the team. Let's dive into some facts. So Paige and Mari, the actresses who played these, done all their own stunts, which I thought was
Why do
fucking
you right? I'm gonna have to address it now because it's been pissing me off all episode. Why do you keep saying Mari?
because her name is spelled Mari, Mari.
Yeah, but it's Mary.
Is
It's
it
said
Mary?
explicitly throughout the film. It's Mary, and I just thought maybe it's just an accent thing from where you're from, and that's how you say Mary. But it's got like
It's just it's
90
spelt
minutes
wrong.
in now, and I'm like, yeah, it's maybe spelt wrong, but the movie itself, it's Mary.
Yeah, but I'm English, so I read things how they're spelt.
Yeah, but you watched the film, you listened to the
did.
dialogue.
Yeah, all right, whatever. Anyway, they done their own stunts. In the scene where they're in the log cabin, if you look, they are covered in bruises on their legs. Now, the intention was to cover it with makeup because obviously that scene happens before all of the horrible scenes that come after it. Their bruises were so bad that even when they were covered with makeup, they would still show because both actresses insisted on every stunt, every fall, every tumble. No, we're doing it. We want to do it ourselves, which I thought was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Really, really cool. We spoke about the rape scene and how horrific that is. I'm going to ask you, like, that scene's we reckon about 1.5 minutes long. How long do you think it took them to shoot it? Just that one scene.
Oh, fucking hell.
It blew my fucking mind. Like, it blew my mind.
You're going to say something ridiculous like fucking 5 days or something like that now. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, it was horrendous. I didn't watch it. But I know from the stills that I saw as I was skipping through, the actress did a fantastic fucking job of delivering it. One second that I did briefly get, which I fucking hate that I saw it, was the transition of fight and acceptance.
Yeah, awful.
Where she just transitioned into fucking zombie mode, and I was like, "Oh no, that like couldn't have been a worse scene for you to fall upon." You know, she was fantastic in the stills that I saw of it.
Yeah, brilliant actress. 17 hours.
Oh, like the thing is, like a lot of people don't give right. I mock actors a lot for being like, "Oh, my job's so hard. I have to pretend to be somebody else all day long. Poor me and all the money that I get for doing so."
Yeah.
No, this scene, like 17 hours of doing this.
100% a paycheck. Like 100%. Also, when this episode comes out, I'm going to drop some behind the scenes stuff purely for no other reason, but just to cleanse your soul a little bit, because some of the behind the scenes stuff and like them laughing and like the two girls like cuddling the rapist, and you see that actually in real life they're all nice people, like made me feel so much better after watching this movie.
Well, I didn't realize up until watching this film that the guy who is actually the main rapist guy is the cowboy guy from Fear the Walking Dead. And I loved him in Fear the Walking Dead, but now I'm just like, I can't watch that show anymore. Like, I don't like you anymore.
Yeah, he's horrible, man. This was originally going to be filmed in Westport, Connecticut, which is where the original was filmed. They had a threat of severe weather warnings, which led the production to scramble. And this was literally the first location they could get that was kind of out of the way of this really adverse weather. So they took it, which I thought was cool. Like that was we're going to shoot here today. Oh, fuck, no, we're not. I'd like everyone on the phone going, do you have a log cabin that we could use? Like, film a rape scene, like put some blood on the walls. That cool. And I love that side of filmmaking. I think is really fun. Like when something goes wrong and the mad scramble. I think that's cool. The film was meant to go direct to VHS. It was meant to be a straight to home release. They done a test screening on the instruction of Wes Craven, because Wes Craven was an executive producer. He said, test screen it. Before you put it out on VHS, just test screen it and see how they do. After the first test screening, it was rolled out into all theaters across the world.
The thing is as well, like, I'm just so blown away by the mass sort of showcasing of this movie. Yeah. You know, like I grew up in a generation where like you see films like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre banned in every country. And then we watch those movies now and you're like, really? Seriously? Like, you banned this in fucking 67 continents. What are you doing? I get it now, and I'm watching this film, and I don't know whether in 30 years, I don't think, it is such a weird thing to have to try and talk about, because when you're watching the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre back in 1974, and you're like, oh my God, this is like the most heinous thing I've ever seen. This should be banned.
Yeah.
I watched this movie, and this is what, now 16 years old.
Yep.
I don't think I'll ever reach a point in my life in 40, 30 years' time where I'll be like, yeah, that's tame as fuck.
It's just not going to happen.
It's not, is it? I don't know. We might still be here doing this podcast, and I hope we are, and we'll come back to it. And we'll be like in our 90s and our 80s, and we're sat here and be like, do you remember when you made that silly comment about how tame, how The Last House on the Left would be the most horrendous thing you'd seen in 40 years' time? Yeah, I mean, it probably might be, given the way that the world's going, but I'm just saying, like, that for me, it's just, I can't understand that whole banning ritual in the 70s and 80s
but
compared to what's being released in cinemas now with such a stuff, movies like this.
Yeah, massive contrast. One thing that I think is really funny, so at the very end of the film, the camera moves away from the farmhouse and it goes down the track road and away from the house. The house is actually the last house on the right. It's not even on the left.
That's funny.
Which I thought was fucking hilarious. Like, what a great way to end your movie. Go, last house on the left, but it's on the right. Like, who in editing didn't spot that?
That's one thing I did like. I like that opening sequence as they're going through
down the
forest.
driveway. Yeah.
Really, really, really cool. And again, they do the same thing in reverse with the closing credits before we get that after credit sequence. Really, really cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. We've got a couple of voicemails. We've got two. So here's the first one. Gonna play? Play.
Hey guys, just listened to the Patreon episode. Absolutely fantastic. It brought back lots and lots of memories for me. One of my first memories was watching the Amityville, probably 5 or 6, as to sleep over at a friend's house. Fantastic. I've got lots to say. First of all, as a vegan myself, I find myself a bit alienated, and you have literally alienated half of your listeners. Well done.
We did.
Beyond that, I love that website, Does the Dog Die? And I think you should bring that to a regular show with whatever film you're reviewing. You have a quick look at that film on the regular show, because that would be fucking hilarious.
I don't get it.
As for what I would like to talk about, I don't consider myself a horror fan. I am a movie fan that enjoy horror. But one genre which I'm not so big on is fantasy, particularly the dragon sword wielding type fantasy. So I've never actually watched Lord of the Rings. So I think it'd be really cool if you did an episode where you talked about the trilogy, not necessarily a full review, because that takes forever and forever, but just talked about that particular trilogy and maybe the genre in general, because that will give me a reason to go and watch the films which I've owned forever and just never pressed play on. So yeah, I think that was everything. If not, I'll come back to you. Great show. Thank you very much.
Are we doing it? Are we doing it?
On Patreon, we are going to do a Lord of the Rings kind of review of the first trilogy. We pick out the bits we really enjoy, what's really good about it.
This is the greatest day of my life. You have to watch the trilogy.
Yeah, I've got the extended cuts as well.
Yeah, are you doing the extended as well?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the greatest day of my life. I wish you well on your journey, sir. And I hope, because I know we joke and I know you take the piss out of me for it. But like when you sit down and you watch it, I hope we become entwined. If you become the friend that I know I deserve, we will be friends for life. You know, this is it. This is a deal breaker, man. Like, you can take your Halloween 4 and Deep Blue Sea jibes all you want, but if you do this one thing for me and you watch the extended cut and you love and you appreciate and you adore the greatness that is the Lord of the Rings,
Do you want
I will be your friend for life. You know that, don't you?
I've set aside a day, so this is going to be our Patreon only episode. I've set aside a day. I'm going to do them back to back, and there is a scene.
Just know, right? Just know how important this is to me.
Oh, I do, and I have watched.
So,
them,
like, don't come in thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be really funny and just shit on this for an hour."
No,
if you do that to me with ill intent, I'll be really mad.
No, I genuinely won't. I'll talk about it honestly and openly, and I'm really excited for this scene.
Potatoes. Hold up. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Do you know what? Dave's just redeemed all his bullshit for the past couple of months. He really has. Yeah. I think this will be the most enjoyable thing. If you've ever heard me gush and love, you know how giddy I can get. If you've been listening to this show for a very, very long time, when I get passionate and I get really, really excited, this is an episode that I am thrilled for.
And I want to say as well, like over on Patreon, I rein Mark in a fucking lot on this show. Like he goes off on a tangent. I'm like, no, let's go back to the movie. The Patreon episode, we just go where the fuck we want. It goes wherever it goes. It could be 20 minutes. It could be fucking 20 hours. Like no cuts, no edits. We talk till we've had enough. So yeah, it's going to be a big episode.
Oh, it's going to be a long episode.
Yeah. And did the dog die, Dave? No, unfortunately that stays on Patreon. And we got one more message now.
Guess what? It wasn't everything. Regarding your games, I think the rap battle would be hilarious. That'd be cool to see, would it? But I think what would also be equally as funny, because you're obviously on Zoom, would be charades. I think that would just be hilarious to watch you two try and act out these movies on camera. It'd be just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. And this is the level you have in our Patreon. This is the level of control. So Dave requested we do Lord of the Rings. So we're going to do Lord of the Rings. He's also requested we play charades. So guess what game we're going to play after we've talked about Lord of the Rings? We're going to play charades.
Excellent. That is going to be the fucking best episode I've ever recorded. I'm telling you now. I am so excited. Can we do it now? No, I know. I need to prep.
Yeah, and so do I. I've got like 11 weeks worth of film to watch before we do that episode. So yeah, patreon.com/YouRunPodcast. Go and join at the mid-tier level and you will get access to that episode. Anyway, due to the nature of this film, I was massively fucked this week. There was no way I could stick out a caption this and expect you to make funny jibes.
No, it wouldn't have been acceptable.
No, cover notes wouldn't work. So it's the long-awaited return of 3-word reviews that Mark kind of got rid of because you'd become unimaginative and it was the same shit every single week.
I just think people got stagnant. I feel like the effort was gone. People weren't trying hard enough. Yeah, it was time to call it a day.
So they've been given now a long break. Let's see if they've improved from when they sort of fell off their game. Dissect That Film Pod made me uncomfortable. Yeah, me too. Yeah, fully.
It's a given. It's a given with this movie.
Mark's arch nemesis, randomly Eric. Microwave on high. Yes. 100%.
I appreciate the comment. I'm just disappointed with the actual sequence itself.
Yeah, I am as well. Dave B Movies, couldn't agree more. Got off lightly. Yeah, I already explained. Yeah. Pineapples would be full in force. Kate, Patreon member, she come in with Can't Be Unseen. And
no. I've already said this movie's going to stay with me for a long time.
That scene, and I watched that scene in its entirety with Lisa, which was a really bad decision to make. It's burnt onto my brain now. It's never going to leave me. No. Finally, Give Me Back My Horror Movies went just simply with, God damn it, Jesse.
I was waiting for the Breaking Bad reference.
Yeah. Don't forget, you could join any features like this that we share across all of our social media at You Run Podcast, almost everywhere, apart from a few. Just You Run Podcast wherever you are. If we're there, we're there. If we're not, let me know and I'll probably add us to that as well. Now time for the game that I have completely not fleshed out.
And What am I doing here?
So I had an idea for a game.
Right.
So it's a word association game. So like I'm going to start with a word, or you'll start with a word. For example, Jaws, and then you would reply with another word that's linked to that
Shark.
movie. Yeah. So for example, like I would say Jaws, and you would say boat, and then I would say Screamboat, and you'd say Winnie the Pooh, because they're linked through that dark universe. And we'd go on like that until someone couldn't say anything.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
there can't be any long pauses. It's got to be literally boom, 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 boom. If you stumble, you lose. We'll do a couple of these. Do you want to go first with one, or do you want to go with the one that I've got sort of lined up? Like, if it works, we'll do more. But at the moment, I'm thinking one each, and this might be a failed feature.
So if you can't follow on from my start word, I get the point.
Over. Exactly that.
Right, okay, I'll go first then.
Okay, go.
Given the tone of this movie as well, my first word is rape.
Oh, fuck, I'm done.
all right, it's 1-0. Go on.
Where do you go for like that's how this movie
I know. It was an easy win. It was an easy win. I took it.
Right, I'm gonna go anaconda.
Snake.
Plane.
Samuel.
Pulp Fiction.
John. You can't. Can you say multiple words? Can you say like Pulp Fiction?
You could use a movie title or a word, but you.
So if I was like John, what I meant was John Travolta, but like I was just going with the first word of that.
No, you could say John Travolta, so that's fine. So you've gone John Travolta. Is that where you are?
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
No, you said Pulp Fiction. That's why I got to John Travolta. You're terrible at this game.
Right. Okay. So you're at John Travolta. Harvey Keitel.
Insurance adverts.
Churchill.
Winston.
Fuck, I'm done again.
You are terrible. I like this game. I'm actually winning. There's 2-0.
Go on then. You do one more.
Skateboard.
Tony Hawk.
PS1.
PS2. Fuck you.
PS3.
PS4.
Controller. No, I want to win. I'm not doing it. I want to win.
TV.
Static.
Stu Marker.
Screen.
Wes Craven.
Freddy Krueger.
Last House on the Left.
Rape.
Oh, fuck's sake.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, that's a clear 3-0 win and the perfect end to the perfect start of a game. As always, let us know if you think that's any good, and maybe we'll bring it back for Mark to casually throw the word rape and leave me stumbled. It's my turn to round it up first. Like, this film is a hard watch, especially if you're the father of a daughter. Like, honestly, if I envisage like my worst nightmare coming true, it's this. This is a father's worst nightmare, and it's also a subgenre of horror that I don't get on with. I don't like the rape revenge, because I don't ever feel that the revenge is good enough or brutal enough to avenge the crime that's been committed. This is shot really well, like from a directorial standpoint, it's great. Casting in this is phenomenal. Every single person delivers their absolute A game, especially the young girl. I think she's phenomenal, from being a happy-go-lucky kid to being absolutely terrified to be in a broken, injured, really, really like broken woman. I think she's phenomenal. This movie does what it sets out to do. It pulls emotions out of me that not many horror movies do: anger, disgust, rage, sadness, like empathy. Like it gets lots of emotion from me, but I just don't like it. It's not my thing. Like if you are someone who likes these sort of movies, this is 100% like fully in one of the best of this type of movie. It is way above average. It's just not my cup of tea. I score an enjoyment. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because it's a really good movie, but fuck, I don't like it. Like if I liked this sort of movie, this would probably be getting top marks just based on the cast and the performances, but I just don't like it. So I can't go higher than a 3 because I'd feel I'm doing myself over. Yes, a 3.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And our scores aren't going to be too dissimilar, and our opinions and our takes aren't going to be too dissimilar, which is very surprising considering the usual run of this podcast. For me, I don't really know where I stand in terms of grading this as a viewing experience. I think the actual credentials of this movie alone, from directing, from acting, from practical effects, right through to score, everything is pitch perfect in my opinion. I think it does
Yeah.
exactly what it sets out to do. I don't think this misses a beat from start to finish. I think when you watch this movie, it comes down to personal preferences. And I think this is either going to be an enjoyable experience for you or it's not. And then whether it is an enjoyable experience for you, there's no shame or no degrading in that. You know, like you like what you like in terms of horror. We're not shaming anybody, you know. It's I like certain horror aspects in terms of slasher movies. That doesn't mean I want to set out to be a slasher.
No.
If you like rape revenge movies, it doesn't mean you want to go out there and be a predator. I'm just saying, like, certain things appeal to certain different people in terms of genres in horror. And for me, I found myself really dysregulated by my experience of watching this movie. I didn't know where to put myself. I felt very uncomfortable by that experience. And I think if that was the intent of the movie from the get-go, they executed it perfectly from
Yeah.
start to finish, in my opinion. I don't think like this film misses a beat. Which is very unusual for me to say. I think like I know I've criticized the terms of the overall execution of people at the end in terms of they should have got more or they should have got less for their involvement in the situation, but that again is a personal relationship with the experience, not necessarily if you take it in terms of its grounded reality.
It's probably
The kill
right.
of Jesse was very much an opportunistic situation where they had that situation relevant to them. It was 2-on-1. It would make more sense that it would be more graphic and more personal in the moment. The rest of it was a survival instinct, outright sort of take it as you will. And I think from that standpoint, even though we've criticized it in the episode, in terms of reality, it would probably be a lot more realistic, which again is something that the movie hits very well in terms of its beats. We're just sat here filled with rage and anger and an annoyance by the situation that we feel like he deserved more. But in reality, would he have got more given the situation that these people have found themselves in? So I think for me, this is very much one of those rare instances where it is a perfect movie. It is executed flawlessly. But again, we do debase this podcast scores on personal enjoyment. And I didn't enjoy my experience with this movie. And it's not because it's a bad movie.
No.
Everything is great. Everything is done very, very well. I just felt very, very uncomfortable. And there's a lot of times when I'm watching horror movies where I seek movies that make me feel that same sort of teenage little boy scared where you're watching a film of somebody's going to die and I'm sat there behind a pillow thinking, oh,
Yeah.
But this isn't the same kind of content. It's not the same
No.
kind of fear you get. I felt that sort of spark within me that I had when I was a teenager discovering horror where I'm like, I don't want to watch this, but it wasn't because a killer was jumping out of a fucking closet to stab a teenager. It was because I was dealing with real world issues and real world problems and real world fears as a father that I felt really uncomfortable experiencing. This movie's going to stay with me for a very, very, very long time. And I think it's made me realize the fears as being a dad to a daughter that I'm going to carry with me for a very, very long time. Not just because of the content of the film, just because those are the fears that you have as a parent. You're always going to be worried about these situations. You're always going to be scared for the safety of your children. But to actually watch it play out and be put in a predicament where you're constantly second guessing the decisions that are made by every character throughout the situation that's unfolding was a really uncomfortable situation for me. I didn't like my experience watching this movie. And again, I really want to stress this enough that this is a really good film. It's really perfectly executed in terms of its filmmaking prowess. It's just, for me, I didn't like it. I had to fast forward certain aspects of it. I couldn't sit through most of it. And I just felt really, really uncomfortable from start to finish. And that's credit to the filmmakers, because that's the content they're dealing with. And they did a fucking fantastic job in doing so. So this is a really fantastic movie. And I don't think there is a film out there that I've experienced myself personally that does it better than this one has. But in terms of scoring it out of enjoyment, I didn't enjoy my time with it. I don't want to watch this film again ever. It's a. I'm going to give it a 3 point. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, just to showcase and highlight the quality of movie making on display.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual experience I had with it, if I could, I would give this a 0 out of 5, just because it was just so fucking disgustingly awful, and I don't ever want to see it again. This is like suburban movie kind of level shit that I really hated and felt fucking awful for watching many days after watching it. But I think because of how well done it was, it deserves some sort of glorification. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, which tips it over that midpoint where people will still see our scores and be like, yeah, that looks like a really good film. It is a really good film. It's just, I don't like it. And I felt dirty watching it.
Yeah. And I agree. And you done this to us. It was your fault. That's it for this. That's it for this week. Next week we're going to be back with more rapey behaviour. This time with a rapey tree, as we dive into the 2013 sequel to The Evil Dead 2013, and it is a sequel. And me and Mark have argued with many people online. And next week we'll explain why it is a sequel and it's not a reboot or a remake.
No, we don't even need to. If the people don't understand, then fuck you. You don't deserve to listen to this show. It is a sequel.
It is a sequel, but I will explain it because there's a big section on facts that I've got of why it's a sequel. Just for those people that are going to go, it's a remake in the comments on Spotify.
It's really not.
Yeah, I want to button all that out. But until then, have a wonderful week. And in a more serious tone, like, if you let your older children out, boy or girl, make sure you know where the fuck they are and how to get hold of them. But until then, see you next week. Bye.
Stay vigilant, kids. See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
Late at night, I tune into your show, where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voices like sirens draws me in, as you pick apart movies all murder and sin. The dad jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. The passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts for a movie review, unveiling